Hey everyone, I've got a powerful story to share today about resilience and incredible insights that might just resonate with you. We're diving into the journey of Seraphine Daly, a woman who, after years of battling a serious illness, faced a near-death experience that shifted her entire outlook. During this transformative time, she received a profound message concerning the future of humanity in November 2024. Before we jump in, let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that and hit the bell icon so you catch all our upcoming content. Hi there, I'm Seraphine Daly. Honestly, I never imagined I'd be sharing my story today, but life has a way of throwing unexpected experiences our way. Growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I had a childhood like many others, filled with its ups and downs. Yet, what I'm about to share has completely reshaped my understanding of life, death, and all that's in between. First off, I want to emphasize that I'm no expert on near-death experiences, nor do I have any formal training in medicine or psychology. I'm just an everyday person who encountered something extraordinary. I haven't authored any books on the topic, nor am I part of any research groups. What follows is simply my personal experience, shared in the most genuine way I can muster. Everything took a drastic turn for me in 2003. I was out biking, a routine I enjoyed, when I was struck by a taxi. The accident left me with severe injuries, changing my life entirely. From that moment, I found myself grappling with relentless pain and suffering. I endured countless surgeries, endless treatments, and a staggering amount of medication. It felt like my own body was fighting against me. The following years passed in a haze of hospital visits, doctor appointments, and restless nights. My family and friends were there, doing their best to lift me up, but I could see the weariness creeping into their eyes. This struggle led me into a deep depression, making me isolate myself even further. I reached a point where I was relying on about 15 different medications each day just to keep going. By late 2011, I realized I couldn't maintain this path any longer. Determined to lessen my medication intake, I started making changes, but my body responded with fierce agitation. My seizures, which were already a lingering issue, spiraled out of control. I could feel myself nearing my breaking point. It was during this challenging time at the start of 2012 that I had an experience that would alter everything. I want to share an experience that completely transformed my life. Now, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I get that, for some, my story might sound like it belongs in a movie or a novel, but I assure you, it was all too real for me. This was the most intense moment I've ever gone through, and I still think about it often. Let's rewind to November 6, 2012. My day started off like any typical one. I woke up feeling the familiar ache that comes with my condition. After taking my meds, I geared myself up for another day of battling through the discomfort. But that day, there was an unusual energy around me, almost as if my body was signaling that something was coming. Around midday, everything changed. I experienced a seizure so severe that I genuinely believed I wouldn't survive it on my living room floor. Time got blurry, and I lost consciousness for an unknown period. When I finally regained awareness, I found myself in an ambulance, lights flashing wildly. The paramedics' voices felt muffled as I drifted in and out, making it difficult to grasp what was happening. Upon arrival at the hospital, I was whisked into the emergency room. The atmosphere was frantic. Doctors and nurses rushed around, hooking me up to various machines and administering medication. Even in my foggy state, I could sense their urgency and alarm. The following hours turned into a whirlwind of tests and treatments, but nothing seemed to work. It felt like all the struggles I had faced in previous years converged at once. At one point, I caught a doctor mention that my organs were beginning to fail. By the next day, November 7th, things had taken a turn for the worse. They removed my feeding tube, and in that moment, the grim reality hit me hard. I could see it in the doctor's eyes. They had run out of options. There was a palpable air of dread. They were bracing themselves for what might come next. The night of November 8th dragged on, feeling eternal as I lay in that hospital bed, drained and without the will to fight. It was then, around 2 a.m., that I made a choice. Using the last bit of strength I could muster, I tied my wrists and ankles with the sheets. I didn't want to hurt anyone else if another seizure hit me, It was my final conscious act, a quiet goodbye to the world. As I lay there, anticipation of the inevitable creeping in, my mind wandered to all that I would leave behind: my family, my friends, the dreams I had yet to chase. A wave of sadness washed over me, but strangely, it brought with it a sense of calm. Perhaps at long last, the suffering would cease. I could feel it creeping in, a seizure stronger than any I had faced before. My body was trembling uncontrollably, and as my vision faded to black, I was convinced this was the final chapter of my story. I shut my eyes, bracing for whatever would follow, but what unfolded next was completely unexpected. As I prepared to sink into darkness, something incredible occurred. It was as though a switch had flipped within me. All the pain, the discomfort, the agony, it vanished in an instant. When I opened my eyes, anticipating the stark white ceiling of the hospital, I was met with a scene that left me breathless. I wasn't in my familiar room at all. In fact, I was adrift in a vast, silvery gray expanse that felt utterly foreign. Looking down, I expected to see my battered, fragile self, but instead, I beheld a stunningly beautiful version of me. There were no scars, no tubes, no machines tethering me to reality. I felt a profound sense of freedom for the first time in ages. It dawned on me then that I had transcended my physical form. The sensation was indescribable, a liberation from all the ties binding me to my earthly existence. Fear and confusion had vanished, replaced by a deep sense of peace and a powerful curiosity about what lay ahead. As I hovered in that shimmering void, I began to notice changes around me. The gray transformed, revealing colors and shapes unlike anything I had ever known. It was as if the universe itself was opening up right before my very eyes. Then, I felt something, a presence. It wasn't visible or tangible, but it resonated through every fiber of my being. It was a warm, inviting energy, enveloping me in love so pure and unconditional that it almost took my breath away. Then came a voice. I hesitate to even call it that. It reached into the depths of my soul. "Welcome, Seraphine," it echoed, a soothing reassurance. "You're safe now." In that moment, all my doubts and fears melted away. I understood, in a way that transcended earthly logic, that I was exactly where I needed to be. I had crossed over a threshold that few would ever experience and return from. The wonder that awaited me on the other side was beyond description, yet I felt compelled to express it because the sights and sensations I encountered were truly extraordinary. In the heart of November, everything I believed about life and my purpose shifted dramatically. As I stepped cautiously into an extraordinary new realm, my curiosity blossomed. The silver-gray haze slowly dissipated, unveiling an astonishing landscape that felt otherworldly. Beneath my feet was a mesmerizing ground, almost like it had been crafted from an exquisite blend of quartz, diamond, and gleaming white marble. It radiated light in a way that felt both familiar and utterly alien, coming from all directions, yet none at all. I took a moment to absorb my surroundings and noticed a sprawling sea of grass. However, it was nothing like the grass I had known back on Earth. Each leaf shimmered and glowed, exuding a consciousness of its own. The colors were unlike anything I had ever imagined, bursting forth in hues that seemed to exist beyond the limits of my experience. Farther away, a stunning waterfall cascaded into a river, but this wasn't your typical water. It had a glossy, jelly-like quality that sparkled as if infused with light. Its gentle flow created a melody, soothing every fiber of my being. Looking up, I realized I was beneath an expanse that transcended the very idea of heaven. It felt like the universe itself was unfolding overhead, with swirling galaxies, vibrant nebula, and stars engaged in a silent, harmonious dance. A gentle golden light enveloped everything, imbuing the scene with warmth and a sense of comfort. Then, as if drawn by an unseen force, my gaze fell upon a magnificent stone gate. It was nothing like the gates I had seen in my life. It appeared to be carved from a precious, unknown stone, adorned with intricate designs that seemed to weave together stories I could hardly grasp, but still resonated with my very essence. What struck me most was the enveloping peace radiating from every aspect of this enchanted place. The burdens of pain and suffering that I had carried for years melted away, leaving me feeling lighter, as if I'd discovered the freedom to truly exist. With every step I took toward the stone gate, clarity washed over me. I felt more whole, more connected, as if all the fragmented pieces of my spirit were finally aligning and healing. And in that moment, I sensed an overwhelming presence, one so loving and powerful that it almost rendered me breathless, bringing me to the brink of my knees. A voice enveloped me, resonating deep within, reaching every corner of my being. "Seraphine," it said, blending authority with a warmth that melted my heart. "You are here because you have sought me throughout your life." In that instant, I realized I was in the presence of something divine. All those prayers, all the shouts of despair from my childhood to my darkest adult moments had found a listener. Nothing was wasted. Tears of gratitude cascaded down my cheeks as I embraced the gravity of this revelation. At last, I felt at home. God's voice danced through the air, gentle yet powerful, each word striking my core, granting me insights that transcended worldly understanding. "My child," the voice continued, "your pain has not gone unnoticed. Every moment of sorrow, each tear you've shed, every whispered prayer during the darkest nights, I have heard it all." A wave of feelings surged through me, washing over the years of loneliness and heartache. I suddenly realized I was never truly alone. "You are here," God spoke, "because you chose to keep faith even in the hardest times. You continued to seek, to believe that something greater existed." As I absorbed these profound words, flashes of my past swept over me. Small acts of kindness I had forgotten, comfort offered to strangers, silent prayers for those who wronged me. I saw these moments through divine eyes, and for the first time, their true worth became clear. Then Seraphine spoke once more, her tone now filled with love and a touch of anticipation. "You face a choice: remain in this sanctuary of tranquility and love, or return to your life. But if you choose to go back, it will be with a purpose." I paused, feeling the weight of that decision. Part of me longed to stay, to bask in that unconditional love. Yet another part, a new realization, stirred within me, suggesting there was more to accomplish. "If you choose to return," God explained, "you will be a messenger. You will have glimpsed beyond the veil and possess a vital message for the world." Just as this thought settled in my mind, I sensed a new presence beside me. A figure emerged, radiant and majestic, not entirely human, but not entirely otherworldly either. It was an angel, and I instinctively knew her name, Uriel. She smiled at me, and in that smile was the essence of all wisdom. "Come," she said, extending her hand toward me. "Before you decide anything, you really need to experience this," Uriel said, guiding me toward the stunning waterfall I had spotted earlier. As we approached, a vibrant energy radiated from the clear waters, and I sensed that this wasn't just any water. "This is the water of life," Uriel explained, his tone both soothing and musical. "It holds healing and knowledge." Standing at the waterfall's edge, he encouraged me to reach out and touch the water. I paused, memories of past physical pain creeping into my thoughts. Yet here, in this otherworldly space, I felt no discomfort. Taking a deep breath, I submerged my hand in the sparkling water. The effect was immediate and beyond words. A wave of warmth and freshness washed over me, revitalizing every part of my being. It felt as if my entire essence was being cleansed and renewed. Years of suffering melted away in an instant, like fog under a bright sun. But it was more than just physical relief. My mind began to expand, as if layers of confusion were peeling away. Insights about the nature of existence, the purpose of our lives, and the essence of divine love flowed into me from the miraculous water. Uriel's smile conveyed ancient wisdom. "What you've just felt is merely a glimpse of the healing and transformation that exists here," he said. "But remember, Seraphine, this power isn't confined to this realm. It permeates all of creation, including the world you've come from." As I took in his words, Uriel led me back to the radiant ground. To my astonishment, familiar faces began to appear, members of my family who had already passed on. My two grandmothers, a cherished uncle, and even a young cousin who had left us too soon stood before me. They didn't say a word, but their eyes communicated a deep message filled with both joy and a somber understanding, as if they shared a secret that was just out of my reach. My maternal grandmother, a woman renowned for her strength and wisdom, stepped closer and gently caressed my face, evoking memories from my childhood. Her expression seemed to say, "There's still more for you to do, my dear. Your time isn't up yet." In that instant, the atmosphere shifted. The divine energy I had previously felt grew stronger, signaling that something significant was about to manifest. Uriel placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "Prepare yourself, Seraphine," he instructed. "Imagine being granted a rare glimpse into something extraordinary. You open yourself up, feeling an invitation from the Creator to witness something profound. And then, right before me, the scene shifted into a breathtaking vision. A dazzling light emerged, shining brighter than 1,000 suns, yet it was not blinding. It took the form of a magnificent orb, a brilliant eye that I instinctively recognized as the clearest representation of God, something I could comprehend. My heart raced, or at least it felt like it did, as I prepared myself for the unfolding experience. I had a sense that this moment would not just alter how I viewed reality, but also redefine the very path of my life. Standing before this immense ball of light, I felt incredibly small, yet overwhelmingly cherished. It was as if all of existence was concentrated in that single point, and I sensed I was being acknowledged as an individual. A voice, familiar from my earlier experiences but now amplified 1,000-fold, resonated deep within me. "Seraphine, my beloved daughter, are you ready to look beyond the veil of time and space?" Words escaped me, but in my heart I echoed a quiet, reverent yes. What came next was beyond any description I could provide. I was enveloped in this divine light, and in an instant, everything became clear. The past, present, and future unfolded like an endless cosmic tapestry. I witnessed the birth of the universe, the swirling formation of galaxies, the rise and fall of stars. The story of our Earth extended before me, from its earliest beginnings to a distant, unknown future. It wasn't just a series of images, it was raw knowledge, complete and instant understanding. Each event, every choice, shared moments of joy and sorrow throughout humanity's history. I felt them all, deep within. As this whirlwind of knowledge swirled around me, I found my focus drawn to a specific time ahead. The year 2024 loomed close, and I sensed significant events set to reshape humanity's course. "Pay attention," the divine voice urged. "What you are about to witness is crucial." I saw the days from November 9th to 13th in 2024 with unsettling clarity, natural disasters of unprecedented scale, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. Yet these weren't merely physical calamities. I perceived a profound shift occurring in the shared consciousness of humanity, as if the world itself was undergoing a process of cleansing and renewal. In the midst of turmoil, people from all walks of life came together, bridging the gaps of nationality, race, and belief. Moments of bravery, compassion, and love unfolded in ways that seemed almost beyond comprehension. Yet what struck me most was what came after, the dawn of an extraordinary era filled with peace, understanding, and harmony that humanity had never known. Innovative technologies began to surface, promising to heal our planet, limitless clean energy, and miraculous medical breakthroughs that felt almost magical. A voice spoke, revealing the incredible future that awaited us, a future illuminated by hope, but only attainable through overcoming significant challenges. Tears streamed down my ethereal cheeks as I tried to absorb it all. It was too vast for my human mind to grasp fully, but my soul deeply resonated with the intricacies and beauty of the divine plan. Then, the voice softened, addressing me directly. "Seraphine, you face a choice. You can remain in this eternal realm of peace, or you can return as a messenger. Share your vision and prepare those willing to listen for what lies ahead." The gravity of the decision pressed heavily on me. The allure of staying in that boundless love was powerful, but a spark ignited within, a drive fueled by what I had witnessed and felt, pushing me towards action. "I want to go back," I said, my voice filled with emotion and resolve. "I want to help. I want to prepare people." The bright light seemed to pulse in approval. "Very well," the voice replied, "but know this, Seraphine. You will return changed. What you carry with you will not only shift your perspective, but will redefine your entire essence." As the words sunk in, a surge of energy enveloped me, merging all the love, wisdom, and understanding I had encountered into my core. I closed my eyes, bracing myself for the next chapter, aware that my journey was only just initiating. Suddenly, I jolted back to consciousness, taking a deep breath, as if surfacing from a deep underwater dive. Pain, a constant companion for years, had vanished. The absence was almost bewildering. I surveyed my surroundings, recognizing the familiar contours of the hospital room. The machines beside me still hummed, but their rhythms felt steadier now. Dawn's gentle light streamed through the window, casting an ethereal glow across the space. Just then a nurse entered, her expression shifting from the usual professionalism to sheer astonishment in a heartbeat. "My God!" she exclaimed, her awe palpable. "You're awake! That's a miracle!" My throat felt parched, and I struggled to speak. The nurse, her hands trembling, quickly offered me a glass of water. After gulping down a few sips, I managed to ask, "How long?" She gazed at me, a mix of joy and disbelief in her eyes, and replied, "You've been in a coma for 3 days." 3 days. It felt like both a lifetime and just a fleeting moment. How could I articulate the sense of eternity I had experienced during that time? As I slowly came back to reality, the doctors began a battery of tests. They seemed genuinely baffled. Not only had I awakened from a coma they thought was irreversible, but my body was also showing astonishing signs of recovery. Years of chronic pain had vanished, and my failing organs were functioning as if nothing had ever been wrong. The lead doctor stared at my scans in disbelief, shaking his head. "By our medical standards, this is impossible," he remarked. I understood the limits of their knowledge, but knew deep down that my healing transcended conventional medicine. Uriel had introduced me to something profound, something that not only renewed my spirit, but revitalized my very physical being. As I prepared to leave the hospital, the weight of my newfound responsibility settled on my shoulders. The visions of what was to come and the messages I was meant to convey felt monumental and honestly a bit terrifying. How was I supposed to share what I had seen? How could I possibly prepare others for the future without stirring panic or disbelief? In the quiet of the night, when most were asleep, I often found myself communing silently with the divine. I'd ask for guidance and strength, and every time I felt that warm, loving presence reminding me I wasn't alone in this journey. On the day I was discharged, I stood outside the hospital, looking up at the sky. Everything felt different, more vibrant, more alive. It was as if I could sense the interconnectedness of all things, the pulse of divine life flowing through every person, leaf, and glimmering ray of sunlight. "I'm ready," I whispered to the universe. "Show me the way." With that, as I stepped out of the hospital, I embarked on a new chapter. Not just a journey of personal healing, but one that would prepare me for a future capable of altering humanity's path. The months that followed were a whirlwind of emotions and experiences. Returning home, I was enveloped in the loving embrace of my family, and it was a moment I would always cherish. At first, it was hard to wrap my head around what had happened to me, let alone share it with others. How do you tell someone about an experience so life-altering, so immense? Gradually, though, as I settled into my new life, a sense of urgency started to grow inside me. I realized that the message I had received wasn't meant for just me. It needed to be shared. I began with my family. One evening, after dinner, I gathered them around and opened up about my journey, the heavenly kingdom, Uriel, the bright eyes of God, and the vision of what lies ahead. Their reactions were a mixed bag. My mother couldn't hold back her tears, convinced that there had always been something extraordinary about my recovery. Meanwhile, my father wrestled with his skepticism, torn between relief and the challenge of believing such a fantastical tale. My sister, however, embraced me tightly and said, "I believe in you, Seraphine, and I always have." Feeling bolstered by that first step, I expanded my outreach to include my close friends, the support group I had during my hospital stay, and even some of the doctors who cared for me. Responses varied widely. Some looked on with doubt, while others listened with intrigue. What amazed me the most was the number of people who seemed almost eager to hear such a message, as if they'd been waiting for it. As I began to share my experiences more widely, invitations came pouring in. Small gatherings, local churches, community spaces, and even a quaint little bookstore that focused on spiritual topics. I wasn't after attention or fame. My goal was simply to connect with those who were genuinely open to hearing what I had to say. In every discussion, I made sure to highlight the importance of unity, compassion, and faith in light of the upcoming challenges, particularly the significant events expected in November 2024. I painted a picture of hope and a brighter future awaiting humanity, rather than sowing fear. It wasn't all smooth sailing. I faced my own doubts too, waking in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, questioning my path. Some emails labeled me as crazy or a charlatan, and a few old friends drifted away, clearly uncomfortable with my new mission. But for every setback, it seemed like two new faces emerged, drawn to my message. I received heartfelt communication from people who claimed my story had transformed their lives. One woman shared that she was on the verge of giving up everything, but found renewed strength through my words. As time went on, I couldn't help but notice subtle shifts in the world around me. As November 10th, 2024 approached, the anticipation in the air felt almost tangible. It was the day just before everything was set to change, a monumental transformation that I had glimpsed in that defining moment of my near-death experience. Writing this, I'm flooded with emotions that are hard to put into words. The past couple of years have been nothing short of astonishing. My initial efforts started small, with study and meditation groups focused on preparing ourselves spiritually and emotionally for what lay ahead. I emphasized that we weren't stockpiling supplies or building shelters. Instead, we were working to strengthen the human spirit, fostering compassion and resilience. It's amazing how a simple idea can grow, transforming from small gatherings and community spaces into something much larger. As 2024 drew closer, something shifted around us. It wasn't just in my head. Many people began reporting vivid dreams and powerful intuitions, a growing sense that something significant was on the horizon. Invitations to share my insights began pouring in. Local radio shows, snippets on regional cable channels, and even short podcasts. Each time I spoke, my message remained consistent. What is coming is not the end, but a rebirth for humanity, a fresh start. During one particularly memorable meeting, a young woman named Seraphine asked me if I was scared, knowing what awaited us. I took a moment to consider her question. Of course, fear sometimes creeps in, I admitted. But then I thought of that beautiful love I experienced in that other realm. The vision of the hopeful future for humanity flooded my mind, and I realized that, even in the face of fear, love and hope could prevail. On the evening of November 10th, I organized a prayer and meditation vigil, expecting a modest turnout. To my surprise, hundreds showed up. The crowd was a vibrant tapestry of ages, races, and beliefs, all united for a common purpose. It was a powerful reminder of what I had seen in my vision, our capacity to come together, transcending our differences in the face of something greater. As the sunset painted the sky, I took a moment to gaze upward, noticing how the stars twinkled almost conspiratorially, as if they were aware of the momentous change about to unfold. "We're ready," I whispered to the universe. It was an intense night, and the energy of hope and unity enveloped us all. Tomorrow would herald the beginning of something extraordinary, a new chapter for humanity. In the vibrant city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's been a stirring of something profound, an awakening that touches the hearts and minds of many. Sure, the journey hasn't been without its bumps. Skepticism, mockery, and even some threats came flying my way. But amidst the noise of doubt, I found a chorus of voices willing to uplift and express gratitude. From all over the globe, people reached out to share how they were inspired by the messages of hope and transformation. As I traveled through recent months, the signs from my visions became more vivid and frequent. Nature began to show its unpredictability. Areas once stable trembled, weather acted erratically, and the skies presented inexplicable celestial marvels. The scientific community buzzed with confusion, desperate to unravel these mysteries. Yet perhaps the most striking change has been within our shared consciousness. An undeniable shift is happening. People are awakening to conversations about unity, empathy, and the urgent need for transformation in our lives and our relationship with the planet. Just last night, I wrapped up my final public talk before the upcoming events. The auditorium was overflowing. People filled the aisles and spilled outside just to catch my words through loudspeakers. When I looked out at that sea of faces, I didn't see fear. I saw resilience, hope, and a collective readiness to embrace whatever was next. I reminded them that what lies ahead isn't an ending, it's merely a new beginning. Yes, there will be tough moments ahead, and fear may linger, but this is the pathway toward a future brighter than we can fathom. I encourage them to open their hearts, support one another, and always remember the divine love that binds us all. Now, As I sit in my garden watching the sunset, the sky transforms into a breathtaking display of orange and pink, a beautiful farewell from the universe before the storm. I reflect on my experiences in that ethereal realm, where I felt boundless love and glimpsed the glorious future awaiting us beyond these turbulent times. There's a comforting peace in knowing I've done everything possible to prepare people. Tomorrow, as the sun rises, we will stand on the brink of a new era for humanity. Yes, challenges will await us, and moments of fear may emerge, but so too will remarkable opportunities for growth, healing, and realizing our true potential. Closing my eyes, I whisper a final prayer. Divine Creator, guide us through this transformation. Grant us the strength to face what lies ahead, the wisdom to learn from our experiences, and the love to unite us like never before. May we rise from this trial renewed and whole. Humanity is revitalized, eager to shape the promising future that lies ahead of us.